Bonjour and welcome, viewers and students, to Let's Speak French, Parlons Français. These lessons on basic French are short and easy, and if you follow the program regularly, I can guarantee you that very soon you will be able to speak and understand French quite easily. In the previous class, we learned the conjugation of the two most important verbs in the French language, the auxiliary verbs avoir and être. In today's class, we are going to learn another fundamental concept of the French language, the definite and indefinite articles. This lesson has been divided into 3 sections. In the first section, I will explain the definite articles. In the next section, we'll learn about the indefinite articles. And in the third section, I'll summarize what we learned in today's class. Before we look at what definite and indefinite articles are, let me first explain the concept of article. What is an article? An article is a small word that may seem insignificant, but it is of great importance in the French language because it indicates the gender and number of a noun. In French, almost every noun is attached to an article. This article is always placed before the noun and thus introduces the noun it precedes. It is interesting to note that in French, everything, be it a person, an animal, or an inanimate object, has a gender. It is either masculine or feminine. Hence, the article placed before the noun will reveal if this noun is a masculine noun or a feminine noun. Articles also specify the number. What I mean by that is, an article will also inform whether the noun it precedes is a singular noun or a plural noun. Let me give you an example and illustrate what an article is and what it does. Je regarde la télé. Je regarde means I watch, and as you might have guessed, télé means TV. In English, we say I watch TV, but in French, it would be wrong to say je regarde télé. Since télé is a noun, it has to be preceded by an article. The article la in the French sentence indicates that the word télé is a feminine singular noun. Je regarde la télé. Now that we know what an article is and how it functions in French, let us now look at the different types of articles that exist in French. There are 3 types of articles in French, but in this lesson, we will examine only 2 of them, which are definite articles and indefinite articles. Let us begin with the definite articles. In French, there are 4 definite articles: le, la, l'apostrophe, and les. Technically speaking, there are only 3 because l'apostrophe is just a variation of le and la. When a definite article is placed before a noun, it indicates that the noun is a specific one. A specific noun means one that has already been introduced or mentioned before. Since this noun is now a particular one, the article that precedes this noun is a definite article. Let us examine each definite article one by one. Let us begin with the definite articles le and la. Le is placed before a masculine noun. For example, le vélo. Le vélo. Let us make a sentence with this word. Le vélo est rouge. Let us now look at the English equivalents of this sentence. The bicycle is red. When we compare these two sentences, we find that the word the in English is equivalent to the word le in French. Let us now look at the definite article la. La is placed before a feminine noun. For example, la pomme, la pomme. Let us make a sentence with this word. La pomme est rouge. This sentence translates as the apple is red in English. When we compare these two sentences, we find that the word the in English is equivalent to the word la in French. We can thus conclude that the word the can be translated either as le or la. It is the gender of the noun following the article that determines whether it should be le or la. If the noun is masculine, we place le before it, and if the noun is feminine, we place la before it. Let me give you another example. Crayon is a masculine word, so we place le before it. Le crayon. Le crayon. Le crayon means the pencil. Table is a feminine word, so we place la before it. La table. La table means the table. Let us now make sentences with these words. Le crayon est sur la table. Le crayon est sur la table. The English equivalence of this sentence is the pencil is on the table. When we compare the English sentence to its French equivalence, what do we see? We find that the word the replaces the French words le and la. In other words, the English word the can be translated into French either as le or la. Since in the English language, inanimate objects do not have a gender, the word the only functions as an indicator of number. That is, it indicates if the noun it precedes is singular or plural. But in French, every object has a gender. So the article le and la not only indicate the number, but also the gender of the noun it precedes. Now let us examine when the definite article L' precedes a noun. As we mentioned earlier, L' is not a separate definite article, but it is a variation of le and la. The L' is placed before any noun that begins with a vowel or a mute H. For example, l'enfant écoute l'histoire. L'enfant écoute l'histoire. The English equivalence of this sentence is the child listens to the story. Since the word enfant begins with a vowel, we place L' before the word. Similarly, we place L' before histoire because it begins with a mute H. The word enfant is a masculine word, and technically speaking, it would be le enfant. Similarly, the word histoire is a feminine noun, and ideally it should be la histoire. But grammatically, both le enfant and la histoire are incorrect. The reason for using L' before nouns that begin with a vowel or a mute H is because of the elision. The final vowel from le and la drop and are replaced by the apostrophe when the following word begins with a vowel or a mute H. That is why L' is considered a variation of the definite articles le and la. And finally, let me show you when to use les. The article les is used when the noun that follows is a plural noun. I'll illustrate this concept with the sentences we've made earlier. Let's begin with Le crayon est sur la table. When we change this sentence into plural, in English it would be the pencils are on the tables. And the French equivalent sentence would be Les crayons sont sur les tables. We notice that the word les precedes the word crayon, which is a masculine plural noun, as well as the word table, which is a feminine plural noun. This means that les can be placed before any plural noun regardless of its gender. Unlike the singular form, which can either be le or la, the plural form of the definite articles does not have any variation. Les can therefore be likened to the English definite article the, which is invariably placed before a plural noun. So, no matter the gender of a noun, if it is plural, the definite article les precedes it. But what happens when the plural noun begins with a vowel or a mute H? Let us consider this sentence. L'enfant écoute l'histoire. In English, when we convert this sentence into plural, it becomes the children listen to the stories. And the French equivalent sentence would be Les enfants écoutent les histoires. We notice that the word les precedes the word enfant, which is a masculine plural noun, as well as the word histoire, which is a feminine plural noun. This means that les can be placed before any plural noun, irrespective of whether it begins with a vowel or a mute H. So here we come to the end of the first section that focuses on definite articles. In the next section, we will examine the indefinite articles. In French, there are three indefinite articles, un, une, and des. When an indefinite article is placed before a noun, it indicates that the noun is not a specific one. An unspecified noun means one that is being introduced or mentioned for the first time. The article that precedes such a noun is an indefinite article. Let us examine each indefinite article one by one. To help you understand the concept better, I will reconsider the nouns I've used in the previous section. Let us begin with the indefinite articles un and une. Un is placed before a masculine noun, for example, un avocat and un chou. Let me make a sentence with these words. Je veux un avocat et un chou. Let us now look at the English equivalents of this sentence. I want an avocado and a cabbage. When we compare these two sentences, we find that the words a and an are equivalent to the word un in French. Let us now look at the indefinite article une. Une is placed before a feminine noun, for example, une glace et une tarte. Let me make a sentence with these words. Je veux une glace et une tarte. This sentence translates as I want an ice cream and a tart. When we compare these two sentences, we find that the word a and an are equivalent to the word une in French. We can thus conclude that the word a or an can be translated either as un or une. It is the gender of the noun following the article that determines whether it should be un or une. If the noun is masculine, we place un before it, and if the noun is feminine, we place une before it. The feminine indefinite article une can precede a noun that begins with a vowel or a mute h. Unlike the elision, which causes the final letter of le and la to be replaced by an apostrophe, une is not affected by the noun that follows it. Next, let me show you when to use they. The article they is used when the noun that follows is an unspecified plural noun. For example, des crayons and des gommes. These words do not refer to any specific collection of pencils and erasers. Des crayons and des gommes indicates an undefined collection of pencils and erasers. If I use these words in a sentence, I would say, Je veux des crayons et des gommes. The English equivalent sentence would be, I want pencils and erasers. We notice that in the French sentence, the word des precedes the words crayon, which is a masculine plural noun, as well as the word gomme, which is a feminine plural noun. This means that they can be placed before any plural noun regardless of its gender. Unlike the singular form, which can either be un or une depending on the gender of the noun, the indefinite article they is not affected by the noun's gender. When we compare the French sentence to the English one, we note that there isn't any article before the words pencils and erasers. The concept of they can therefore be said to be non-existent in English. However, they can sometimes be likened to the English phrases a few or some. For example, j'entends des bruits. In English, this sentence can be translated as I hear some noise. So, irrespective of whether the plural nouns are preceded by the word some or not, if they are unspecified plural nouns, the indefinite article they precedes them. And similar to the definite article les, which is placed before any specified plural noun, no matter if it begins with a vowel or a mute h, they too can precede any unspecified plural noun. With this, we come to the end of our second lesson. Before we end, let me summarize in a few words what we learned today. This lesson was divided into 3 parts. In the first part, we learned about the definite articles in French. We found out that the English definite article the has 4 forms in French: le, la, their variation L apostrophe, and les. Les and L apostrophe are relatively less complicated since the gender of the noun does not affect them. Les always precedes plural nouns and L apostrophe is placed before any noun beginning with a vowel or a mute h. In the second part, we learned about the indefinite articles. We found out that the English indefinite article or an has 3 forms in French: un, une, and des. We found that un always precedes a masculine noun that is unspecified, while une is placed before any unspecified feminine noun. We also saw that a noun beginning with a vowel or a mute h could follow une. And finally, we learned that the indefinite article they precedes every plural noun that is unspecified. In the third part, we did an exercise on the definite and indefinite articles. In the third part, we summarized what we learned today. I hope you enjoyed today's session. In the next class, we will learn the adjective endings. I hope to see you in the next class. Thank you and à bientôt. See you soon.